Good morning. It's time for a little coffee and gaming. This morning I decided to take a little break from sports and I thought I would play my game, Big Country Mobster. This game came about after I finished Big Country Boxing. I was then hit with a couple of other ideas for how I could use this game engine. So my next big one was Big Country Mobster, or not big one, I mean my next major game using that engine. It just hit me in a flash one day, and it just seemed like the perfect fit for a fun little adventure game. You make a handful of decisions, but ultimately it's about seeing a career of a mobster. So last night I had a mobster moving to Paradise City. Teddy Bear Johansson, and he was a ladies' man and stubborn. His crew, though, liked to sample the goods, and their rackets suffered when they went to war, when they went to the mattresses. Anyway, needless to say, Teddy Bear lasted 9 episodes before he was a victim of a serial killer that was in his neighborhood. So pretty interesting story. He had success in only one of his 9 episodes, and that happened to be when he had the Jewish goldsmith from the Jewish quarter actually gave him a loan. And that kind of bolstered him, prolonged the inevitable, his demise. But who could have seen his demise would come at the hands of a serial killer in his own neighborhood? Okay, so I thought I would go ahead and share this. I have not shared this game on the channel since I debuted and did a tutorial of it on my channel. There's a video on the YouTube where on my channel where I debuted this game using Roll20. The original book was spiral bound, larger, with a color cover, and it was unfortunately too expensive. So I eventually made a new cover, revisited the rules, and cleaned up some of the stuff. It still has some typos. It could stand yet another legitimate revision, and I've seen some typos and things that at the time I was so busy with so many projects, I just kind of hurried to get some things done. There's nothing wrong with this, but it could stand a little love. The point is, this was the second using the Big Country Boxing engine. Big Country Boxing was the first, then this, and then I ended up making a beta baseball and a football, and I think a hockey. I can't remember. All of those are available free. They're basically 1 or 2 page documents available free PDF on my Google Drive. This only way to get this is to buy it off Lulu. This is $9.99 for this little game. Eventually, I'm gonna work on this engine and do more. So I have a feeling much of 2025 is going to be me working on Space Age of Man, our second major tabletop RPG, and trying to do more with the Big Country conflict resolution engine is what I call it. Or I call it the Big Country Boxing engine. But you usually have a conflict resolution table, and we usually create a character or a team or something using an attribute system with a value that affects the base value. And that's how we're going to start today. So whether you like it or not, folks, no sports today. We're going to take a break, and we're going to follow the career. So in Paradise City arrives a new buck with his crew, and we're going to call this guy Enzo. Let's see here. Enzo Luciano. What is Enzo Luciano known for? This is his reputation. What is he known for? 8. He's known for using guns. Whoo, lordy. So that's going to flavor my narrative. But I'm a 625 base. Plus 50. I'm already 675 just for that. So guns, I'm known for guns, and that means when I tell the narrative of what's happening around him, I should keep in mind he likes to use guns. That's a plus 50. So this would be Tommy guns, GATs, they call them, right? What's his type? This is kind of his personality. What is his type? This is personal. The other two have more to do with my crew. 3. A 3 is wants more. Oh man, he's never satisfied. He wants more. Boss, we got the prostitution ring. Yes, but I want that drug money. All right, wants more. Dang. What's good about that is it's a positive plus 35, so he's going to arrive on the scene with a bit of a vengeance. This guy is ambitious. Okay, my crew. Let's hope these guys are as good as my character is right now. 3. 3 is efficient. Hallelujah. So we have an efficient crew. They don't mess around. If I tell them to get the job done, they don't need much more coaching from me. They go out and for plus 35. Holy cow, this may be the best character I've ever rolled up, the crew. And next is the mattresses. And for those who don't know what the mattresses are, that refers to the Godfather. And the mattresses are when your gang goes to war with another gang. How do you handle war? Let's see how this team, Enzo, Luciano, and his crew handle the mattresses. 5, rackets suffer. Okay, so when we go to war, our own rackets suffer. And that would be how we earn money. So we might have a lottery racket. We might have a hooch racket. We might have a prostitution racket. But when we go to war, we tend to focus on the war and let our racket suffer, which means we go down in our quality, minus 15. So that was our first negative. So Luciano starts his career as a 730. That's 105 points better than the base value. So he's got a good chance at being successful. Does Luciano. And we're not going to give him a nickname. We're going to leave Luciano alone, we might nickname him as his career goes on. So the game assumes, in a way, it's like one of those old black and white TV shows. Every episode, or every mission is like a TV episode. You know, an old black and white Untouchables or a comic book. You could see every round as a comic book if this was an old comic strip, right? So imagine however you want, or imagine it as it's a real gangster. So it's up to you. But this could be the Sunday comics, right? But no, it's nothing funny about Enzo Luciano and his want to run Paradise City. So there's a game flow chart that tells you how to play here, and then you repeat steps 1 through 5. We're not going to do that. I know how to do that, right? And the rules are here in section 4. But first, we're going to roll what's called the game flow chart. Players roll this chart to start every turn unless previous results on the chart state otherwise. Okay? The charts are harder and lower on the table, right? So, and then we have what's called the headquarters. This generally is my neighborhood. We call it the HQ, but this would be our neighborhood. Whatever little HQ that we found a little corner of the big city, or in Paradise City, we found a little corner somewhere where we have started to build our gang, our rackets, etc. This sometimes has to be dealt with. I can also choose on a turn to do this and skip a game flow turn. However, it costs me points. In other words, to stay home could cost me points, but it's good to tend your own neighborhood once in a while. The problem here is it cannot advance toward having a shot at the big guy, right? And the goal of this game is to beat the big guy and you win. And you cannot face the big guy until you meet certain criteria. Okay, so that sums up the game in a nutshell. It is automated solo, basically a tabletop solo narrative adventure game. You make the sense of the narrative. So Luciano, I'm going to have a lieutenant. I'm going to go ahead and to flesh out this narrative, I'm going to add some stuff. I'm going to add a lieutenant, and that's going to be Bugsy Jones. Bugsy Jones will be my right-hand man. And I'm going to have a girlfriend. Sally Hemsworth. Sally Hemsworth will be the girlfriend, right? So here we go, folks. Game flow chart. Episode 1 of this Enzo Luciano's story of Paradise City. 4 is Jimmy Big Dog Jackson has some juice, boss. The rail yards chart. So Bugsy Jones comes to me in Act 1 and says, this is episode 1, Big Dog, rail yard. Okay, so he comes to me and says, Big Dog's got juice, boss. Let's go do some work there. So in other words, we don't know what we're up to yet, but we're headed to the rail yards to do some seediness. So the goal, we have this headquarters, this small area that we may have staked out in somebody else's neighborhood, or maybe an area of the city that's gang-free. But we're going into other people's districts, other people's neighborhoods around Paradise City, and we're wreaking havoc, or we're trying to take over. And so that's why there's different areas. This is, you're not gonna, listen, you don't pee in your own dinner dish, man. You want to go perpetrate these actions in other people's neighborhoods. 1, to affect them. 2, to get the crime, to get the coppers looking at them, not at us, right? It don't do you no good to perpetrate crimes in your own neighborhood, right? As a newbie to Paradise City. So in the rail yard, so Jimmy Big Dog Jackson controls the rail yards and the surrounding neighborhood. Jackson gets a kickback on all the freight coming in, and he calls it a tax. But more importantly, Jackson can ship merchandise in and out easily, and he levies a tax on that service. Jackson is shrewd but crude, so we'll find out, right? So Bugsy Jones comes to me and lets me know that there's some action going on in the rail yards, and I can't seem to roll the dice here. 5. Don Marcello has a lucrative freight shipping out tonight, DR 700. So we're going to steal some freight. So we're going to steal the Dons. Now, Don is who we want to take over. Marcello. So we're already messing with the big dog. This is the Don of the entire city, Don Marcello. This is the guy we want to bring down. So right now we're picking a fight with the big man on campus. We're going to steal. It's going to be a danger rating of 700. We're stealing. And what's amazing about that, I rolled up such a good character. I'm plus 30 on the conflict chart. Hallelujah. So we're going after the big dog in episode 1. So you can imagine in Act 2, we learn who Jackson is. We meet Jackson, and we find out who the Don of the whole city is, Don Marcello. And we find out because me and my crew are going to steal his freight from Big Dog. Now, maybe Big Dog whispered in our ear, I'm going to leave the 16th car wide open, and my men and I will be playing dominoes, right? And so we're like, oh, wink, wink, let's go get this freight. Now, can we successfully get this freight, right? We're plus 30. We need to roll a 5 or better to succeed. No. So unfortunately, something goes down. Marcelo's men are there. They're already unloading the freight. We end up in a gunfight with them. They run us out of Dodge. And because of this failure, we lose 20 points of our 7. So we went down 20 points. We're now at 7-10. And so that would end in Act 3. As we arrive, it turns out Don Marcello and his men, or maybe a rival gang, is also stealing Don Marcello's goods. That makes sense. Big Dog whispered it out to everybody. Hey, Marcello's got some goods. I'm going to leave the doors open, right? Unfortunately, we weren't the only lieutenant. Bugsy wasn't the only lieutenant to get this information, and we ended up in a gunfight, and we had to backtrack, get out of there, and somebody else, we may not even know who, right? Matter of fact, let's make a random roll to see what gang stole Luciano. Did Luciano get his own stuff? Right, so you can use this chart as a random generator here to see which gang stole Marciano, or Marciano may have stole his own stuff, or taken his own stuff. 10, yeah. So Don Marcello. So Don Marcello did pick up his own stuff. So I was right the first time. It was Marcello's gang was already there getting out their loot, and we got run out of Dodge, and that was episode 1. Episode 2, so roll credits. Act 3 was us getting run out of Dodge, racing back home, licking our wounds. Maybe we lost some men, and I find out just how tough. This is why you don't poke the big dog until you're ready to poke the big dog. And I'm going to remind Bugsy, Listen, we poked the big dog too soon. But look, we learned about Marcelo and his men. They're good. This is why he's Don of the city, Bugsy, and this is how we're going to have to do our business when we become Don of the city. So, episode 1, we already met the big bad, and we've met Big Dog, and we found out we've all know now what we're dealing with. The guy is good, all right? He took care of his business. He didn't leave his stuff there to be stolen. That's a good boss. Episode 2, credits roll, Act 1. What's going on? 5 is Vincent Battaglio is moving up, boss. Okay, so Battaglio's a problem, right? So we're meeting Battaglio in this episode. And he's moving up, right? So this is just news. You get this news from your crew. They come in and they tell you, hey, Big Dog's up to something. Battaglio is moving up. And so we want to bring Battaglio down. So we're going over to take a look at the dockyard. So Battaglia is very dangerous. And I think one of my subscribers last year said his first game, he lost to Battaglio, and that was it. All right, so the dockyards are arguably the most important territory in the city. They are handled with aplomb by Vincent Battaglio. Battaglio navigates the local DA's office and the feds in such a way it would be insane to push this guy out. However, he can be made to answer to the Don, as he does today. All things you do here must be subtle or risk bringing the state or the federal agents to Paradise City and ruining a good thing. So here in Paradise City, we want all the gangs don't want the feds in here. Battaglia happens to be an upstanding public figure who has some connection to both of those things to keep the feds down. That's why he's still there. If not, he would have been taken out a long time ago. Dangerous in this hood. So let's find out what we're up to as Bugsy and my crew come to me and tell me he's moving up. And that makes me nervous, and I'm sure it's going to make a lot of the other gangs nervous. The dock workers are on strike. That hurts business. Break them up. DR 700. So it's a strike. We cannot have them striking, as this is affecting our neighborhood and our rackets. Right? When they're striking, they don't have the extraneous money to buy my lotto tickets. They don't have the extraneous money to consume our goods, like illegal hooch. But they do have the free time for prostitution, unfortunately, and gambling. Unfortunately, they don't have the money for it. So we got to end this strike. DR 700 again. So twice in a row, we got a very good. I say good. This is a tough DR. It's not the highest, but it's tough. And guess what? Because we lost 20 last episode, this now is only a plus 10 for us. So we're still down here where all I need is a 50%, 5 and up, and we will succeed at ending this strike. We're going to crack some skulls with our crew. No, we're not. We go in there thinking we're going to run the union and the strikers. We're going to break the picket line, and oh, Lord, do we find out the hard way. They break us. 710. So again, we're going to get run out of Dodge here, minus 25. We're down to 685, folks. And this is another episode where we find out just how strong Paradise City is. We learn who Battaglio is. He's a hotshot roller who has connections to judges and feds, and that's how he keeps control of the docks. And the docks are the most important because this is big-time shipping in and out of Paradise City, right? Okay, so we find out who Battaglio is. He can't break up the strikes. He calls us in to break up the strikes. I got bad news for you, Battaglio. These union guys are tough knots, and they beat our ass. So we're out, and episode 3 ends with us limping back to headquarters, our neighborhood, and Battaglio making note that we might not be the new kid in town. We may not be the new potential kingpins. My gosh, episode 3, what are we up to? We might want to look at our own headquarters. Let's read this. So headquarters, this is your neighborhood, and it is where you are generally safe and able to control your rackets. It is here you will defend your turf, pay bribes, and serve your clientele. You cannot advance the game here against your enemies, but you must tend to business once in a while. A 1d10 and consult the event chart. You may ignore this table and sacrifice 20 points to swap any district chart. Okay, so I can't use this table unless this says. And I can then choose to ignore this table and take a 20 point hit and go back to this table. So HQ can be nice because it can give you a bonus. You can't do it on your own. You have to do it by some of the chart. I forgot my own rules. I haven't played this thing in months, so. HQ never came up in my game last night. All right, so episode 3, we tune in to Enzo Luciano's story. Or maybe we flip to the Sunday paper for the third week of this interesting little mobster story. Jimmy Big Dog Jackson. Oh man, here we go. We're going back to Big Dog. So lesson was not learned. But this time we might be dealing with Big Dog himself. We may decide that Big Dog needs to be brought down, but we don't know here yet. But again, Bugsy's got his ear to the ground. He comes to me and he says, you know what? There's still some work to be done in the rail yards, boss. I think it's our best bet. And I look at him and I tell him, okay, hope you're right, my friend. 9. Jackson has agreed to ship our merchandise cheap, plus 75. So we got 75 in making a deal. We don't even have to go to the conflict. We're up to 760, folks. So there's an example of what's called, you can either lose MR or gain MR. And MR is our mob rating. And we had no conflict. So he calls us in and he says, listen, I don't want to deal with these other gangs. They want too much. I'm going to deal with you as you're the new guys in town. And I'll ship your merchandise in and out of the rails at a discount. And so our mob rating goes up. And that means we're going to, and again, your mob rating is everything. It's your ability. It's your crew. It's how much money you're making. It's your reputation. So this one score, like boxing, is everything about our mob, right? And so that was a good episode. So very simple episode. We get rumor that Big Dog Jackson wants to talk to us. So we roll in there, with our GAT in hand because we're a gunman. We got our GAT packed up. And he says, put the GAT away, sit down. Always sit down over a little 40 and a little Domino's. And we work out a deal. And Big Dog says he likes the cut of my jib and wants to work with somebody that's a little that's going to pay out a little higher. Maybe we're going to pay a higher percentage to Big Dog for running our merchandise. So that's a good episode. Episode 3 wraps up with a smile on Enzo's face for the first time all season. Episode 4, what happens? Here we go, game flow chart. Episode 4. 4 is Big Dog. Oh, damn, this season is going to be known as the Big Dog season. Wow, what is it about? They must have liked this actor. They wrote a lot of, again, I treat this like it's a television show or your favorite comic book strip, but again, it doesn't have to be MR plus 75. This was Made a Deal. Wow, made a deal with Big Dog. All right, Big Dog, we're going back to the rail yards. Now, this makes sense narratively, right? You say, wow, why is a Big Dog coming up? Well, I'm rolling it, but it makes narrative sense now. We're invested in Big Dog. Big Dog's like an ally. This guy's cut us a deal on shipping our merchandise, so it makes complete sense we'd be invested in what's going on at Big Dog Jackson's rail yards. Now, let's hope Big Dog hasn't turned on us. Here we go. So what happens as we go to the rail yards? Jackson's high-stakes domino game is in session. DR 575. Oh, my God, folks, we're going to rob Big Dog. So hood's on. We're going to be wearing overalls. We're going to be wearing dockyard uniforms, gloves. We're going to be carrying sawed-off shotguns. We're going to be wearing hoods over our heads, and we're going to rob Jackson. High-stake dominoes game. Holy cow, folks! We're going to have somebody in the crew do all the talking, so he won't recognize my voice. Holy cow! So it is a 575. We are 760. So this is what you get. What is the old saying? No honor among thieves. Big Dog cuts us a deal, and then we turn around and rob him. That's gangster life, baby. 760 minus 575. Oh, damn. This would be the episode 4 in the middle of the season where everybody goes, what? Dude robbed his ally. Hey, man, plus 185. This is the gangster life. This is how you advance. Okay, we need to roll a 5 and up to rob him. 7. Hello. 7. We rob this guy, and we come away with 50 points of MR, baby. 760 plus 50. We're up to 810. So we rob Big Dog's game. So he called in all the high stakes plus 50. We're up to 810. And that episode ends with, as we watch. So this is one of those episodes. This would be an episode where maybe we don't even see the face. We just see the robbery. Right? We hear the voices. We see feet, we see him arm up, we see him change clothes, but we never see the faces. And then we see the robbery with everybody wearing hoods, and the final moment of the TV show, Enzo pulls his hood off, and reveals that he's the one that robbed Big Jog. And everybody watching their favorite mobster hero, Enzo Luciano, finds out he is a thug, and he has just robbed Jackson. So this episode might have started from Jackson's point of view, right? We would have been watching the TV show, following Jackson, and watching he's setting up a high-stakes domino game. And these guys come in and rob him in overalls and dog-yard work with shot-off shotguns, and they rob him blind. Guess what? At the end, the hood comes off, and we realize it's Enzo, baby. Unbelievable. Episode 5. I'm liking this TV show. I should be a scriptwriter. Here we go. I could use this to write mobster scripts for a TV show. It's funny. Here we go. Episode 5. 2. The coppers are feeling quota's boss. The coppers chart. Damn. So now we got to deal with the cops. So every once in a while, things go bad. Or every once in a while, the cops feel like, or the mayor says, hey, listen, we have got to crack down on organized crime. Go hit it, boys. And he turns up the heat. The heat's up. What are the coppers on about? So in this episode, it starts with the mayor or a judge hitting a gavel and sending maybe a cop to jail, a dirty cop to jail. And then the head of the chief of police and then the mayor telling the chief of police, we got to crack down on the mob. This don't look good for us that a dirty cop just went to jail. And so 7, they send him out. There is an arsonist on the loose in my neighborhood. Oh my God, DR 700. Dang it, cops. Okay, now why would this be my problem? Well, there's a couple things. One, this is where we do business. So we got to catch this arsonist, or we got to help end this arsonist, or we got to help the cops find this arsonist. I don't care what the scenario. We're either going to help the cops, or we're going to look for this dude ourselves. Who's the arsonist? We don't know. He could be working for another gang. He could just be a troubled person. He could be an arsonist, just a guy, right? But the problem here is, it's difficult because he's burning down our buildings. He's threatening the people who keep us afloat. He's threatening our families, our clientele, and the DR 700. That's affecting potentially everything about our gang surviving in our little neighborhood. Right? Remember, we don't have a district. We're just in a neighborhood. Okay, 700. But fortunately, we're up to 810 minus 700. We're gonna have a plus 110. Let's see if we can pull this off. Again, we're looking at a 5 and up, baby. Come on. And it is 6. And we're going to get this. 5 and up. 6 is plus 15. So we're up to 825. So arson. DR 700, we're going to be plus 15. So we're up to 825. Hot dog. And so let's go ahead and see. Let's roll the dice here. If I roll, and again, I like to do this. I like to flesh out my story as I play. If I roll odd, it's one of our enemies that's burning down buildings. If I roll odd, yeah, 9. So it's one of our enemies. Who's doing this to us? 9, the DA. Oh my God, our corrupt DA, Martin Andrews, is abusing his authority. Son of a gun. So we learn from, I hate to say it, folks, plug your ears if you don't want to hear dirty deeds. We're breaking thumbs. We are pulling fingernails. On this arsonist, and he finally tells us under duress that the DA, the dirty DA, hired him. Dirty DA. Oh my God. So that's to take, this is the old wag the dog scenario, right? They have a dirty cop, judge hammers the gavel, sends a dirty cop to jail. The mayor says, turn up the cops. They do. But more importantly, the DA takes the television, takes the media, the newspapers, are now front page news is arsonist on the loose instead of dirty cops go to jail. DA Andrews is a smart son of a gun, and we got to deal with him. Man, episode 6. Who are we up against here? Matter of fact, that role I could use. Let's do it. Let's use that role. That would be part of the narrative. We learn at the end of Act 3 of episode 5 that the dirty DA. Downtown district. This is the DA's office. Yep. Let me double check. I didn't look here. 9 is the downtown chart. Yep. So we're going downtown. All right. So we learn at the Act 3 of episode 5, as we break the arsonist's heart, so to speak, He spills the beans. It's the dirty DA that did this. That's why all the newsies are carrying newspapers on street corners. Arson, arson, arson. So they don't notice that dirty cops are going to jail. Okay. All right. Well, a little playback time. We're going to hit downtown, baby. Maybe a drive-by. We like guns. Let's find out what we do. 8. Bust your top enforcer out of the downtown jail. Oh, so Bugsy's on top of that. They've arrested Bugsy. Dang it. And this is a tough one. This is 1,000. So we're going to break him out of jail. I ain't going to trust that dirty DA to not send my boy up for being the arsonist. That's the problem. The arsonist is now floating, is now, swimming with the fishes, and he's arrested Bugsy under the arson, right? So now here's our narrative. Damn it, Bugsy's up on arson. I got to get him out. Dang it, DA, downtown. Bugsy on trial for arson. Dang, that's not cool. But this one's a big one, boys. I'm at 825. This is a difficult breakout. 1025. So 1025 minus 825 is going to be minus 200. We're at a negative 200. Whoo, negative 200 on this. I don't know, Bugsy. Bugsy may be going to prison, dang it, or jail, one of the two. We're at minus 200. Yep, we need an 8, 9, or 10. 10, hot dog. You can see it right there. Big 0, baby. 10. We're going to break Bugsy out. Hot damn. And you can hear the sirens as we make the run for it. Plus 30 on top of everything. We are up to 855. We are making a reputation. And everybody watching this brilliant black and white 30-minute mobster drama on TV is rooting for their guys as we turn on the dirty DA and we break Bugsy out, and we're going to hide him. We're going to send him in hiding. So Act 3 is us driving Bugsy into the woods and putting him in a little cabin down south in the state and tell him lay low here for a few months until we deal with the DA. So Bugsy right now is going to be Bugsy in hiding will be the end of that episode. So we're going to put Bugsy in hiding. Holy cow, folks, we're up to 855. So my gang and myself are getting reputation. So we're at 855 for episode 7. Tune in, folks. It's a heck of a show. Maybe, like Gunsmoke, it'll go for 25 years or 20 years or whatever it was, right? This might even become an hour-long color show like Gunsmoke. Right after 5 seasons, Gunsmoke goes to an hour, turns color, and that's when I quit watching Gunsmoke. I love the old 30-minute dramas, black and white 30-minute dramas. Episode 7. 7, it's Abraham Goldsmith is careful. Let's force him out, the Jewish Quarter. All right, so the Jewish Quarter is a neighborhood. And literally, it's a quarter, meaning 1/4 of a district is the Jewish neighborhood. And it's run by Abraham Goldsmith. And this neighborhood is home of the Jews, a thriving community that sticks to its own business, but uses other gangs to conduct business transactions. Sometimes these transactions are subtle and lucrative for the right mobster. So let's hope when we go in there to give Goldsmith some trouble, maybe he'll cut us a deal. We might benefit from this. 4, we need money, and Goldsmith can provide. So Goldsmith. So this is going to be Goldsmith, the JQ, and he actually ends up providing maybe a bribe. Maybe we bribe Goldsmith. We got a little something on him about where his diamonds are coming into the city, and that we can let that slip to a dirty DA, and he pays us a bribe. So we're going to win a bribe. I'm going to say bribe. We get plus 35 MR for a bribe, right? So how does the game work? It's abstract. You make sense of everything happening as you're watching me tell this tale. Season 1, right? We're in episode 7, and we see now we meet Goldsmith and my mobster. Basically, to get that 35, that could be a loan, but loan means we got to pay him back. Maybe he pays us to do something. Nah. That's going to be dirty money, man. We're bribing him. We're gonna threaten to tell the DA where he gets his diamonds, right? They're illegal imports, right? So we get a bribe here, and we're now up to 885. We are almost ready to take on the big guy. Episode 8. So we've also met now. We've been to the Jewish Quarter, the Jewish neighborhood, and we've met Abraham Goldsmith, right? Game flow chart. Here we go. Episode 8. Everybody's sitting around the TV. It's glowing hot box in their living room. Martin back to the dirty DA. People like the dirty DA. So we're writing scripts every week to get that actor and the dirty DA back on TV. Everybody likes everybody likes to resolve corrupt government, right? No one in any country in the world likes corrupt government, corrupt cops, except for corrupt cops and corrupt government. The people don't, and so you're going to want to tune in and watch them deal with this dirty DA. Here it is, 2. A drive-by shooting of a patio eatery ought to get some attention. Man, we're driving by. So remember, what did we learn about my character in the very first moments of episode 1? He believes in the use of guns. So we load up with shotguns, Tommy guns. We get us a car, and we're going to steal that car. You ain't going to use your own car. We're going to steal us a car. We're going to load up. We're going to put 2 men, one in the passenger seat, one in the back seat with Tommy guns, and we're going to drive by the DA's favorite coffee shop, and we're going to riddle it with bullets. Now, does this mean anybody dies? No. Our guy may not be out to kill, but he's sending a message to the dirty DA. The problem here is, sir, this is a difficult challenge, 975, so we're at a disadvantage here as we're going to do a drive-by on DA's favorite spot, Clara's Coffee. Right? We ain't got nothing against Clara, but we're sending a message. And we ain't going to kill anybody, but we're going to maybe we're going to do this bright and early. We know the DA likes to go in the morning to get his coffee, so we hit it just as the DA's coming around the corner. We hit it a little too early, blowing up the joint, but not killing anybody, right? So here we go. That's how we're going to send our message. We're sending a message to the dirty DA. We could have killed him if we had wanted to. Let's hope. Let's hope. Now let's see. We're at negative. Let's see here. 975. What are you? Negative 90? 885. Yeah, we're at negative 90. All right. So negative 90. We're right here. We need to roll a 7 and up. Nope. Miserable failure. This is bad. Minus 65. 885 minus 65. We're down to 820. No. Minus 65. We're down to 820. So this is bad. This ends badly. As we race back, maybe I have some of my crew are killed. Maybe they gunned down. Coppers make chase. It's a long car chase. So episode 8 is loaded with action. It starts with us doing a drive-by. As I explained to my crew, don't kill nobody. We just want to send a warning that we could have killed him if we wanted to. We gun the place down, but we don't realize there's cops all around. They chase us down. It's a second act of a high-speed chase in these old cars, and we end up in a wreck, a fiery wreck, and I lose 3 of my men as I escape injured, limping back to headquarters, but I lose 3 of my guys. My driver and my 2 gunmen get killed in a fiery wreck, and that is the price of doing business the hard way. You live a violent life, folks. You're going to suffer the results of a violent life. Let it be known. This is for entertainment purposes only. I do not advocate you start a gang and that you go out and you perpetrate such actions. Enjoy this as it is a TV show. Your gangster can be as ruthless as you want him to be, or he can be a good-hearted Robin Hood. I don't care. But I will say this. We are limping back, and we have paid the price, karmatic price, for trying to put the guns upon the dirty DA. Episode 9, people tune in to say, is this going to be a lighter episode? Are we going to get a funny episode? Some of these shows would always have a little funny in there once in a while to break it up. The kids sit around there wanting to see action, violence, but maybe mom sitting with everybody around the TV says, come on, can we have one that's funny? Can we have one for mom? Let's find out. 3, Charlie Hennigan is weak. Let's push him, boss. The Old Town chart. Uh-oh. We're going after Hennigan in the Old Town. Charlie Hennigan is the boss of the Old Town district. Old Town. Let's get to Old Town. This is the first time we've met Charlie Hennigan. So let's hope Charlie Hennigan as an actor is a funny man and kind of brings a little levity to the show, right? Because it's gotten pretty heated up to episode 9. And again, we got to do something to keep mom watching before mom starts saying, we ain't watching this anymore, and sends all the kids to bed early, that kind of thing. We can't have that. Television can't have that. Old Town used to be where there was, dang it. The Old Town was all that was Paradise City. Used to be Paradise City. Man, I can't read my own writing. A small town in a picturesque river basin, Paradise. Boy, has it changed in the last 100 years. Old Town is now dominated by Charlie Hennigan and his gang. They specialize in prostitution, but they have a small lottery racket, and they have been known to do business with outsiders, mostly as muscle for other operations. This is a violent group of old thinking hoods. Damn, these are old boys in the old town. They do things the old way, Sicilian way maybe. Hennigan, of course, ain't a Irishman, so I mean, isn't an Italian, so not the Sicilian way. But here's the problem. Mom was hoping for a funny episode. No. We're dealing with a violent group of thugs. So Mom ain't going to get the episode she was hoping this week. 7. There is a copper on Hennigan's payroll. He's a bad cop. DR 335. Okay. So we're going to take out a bad cop. I like this. So again, we're going to be doing Robin Hood here. We hear that Hennigan has got a lucrative deal with a bad cop. And this cop may be elevating up the ranks. Maybe he's becoming a sergeant or a detective. And so we're going to take care of this bad cop, and we're going to lower Hennigan's power in the head offices. So we're going to take care. We're going to end bad cop. Hot dog. And this one's easy. 375 for our, now watch us below this roll. We are at 820. This is a 335. So we should be able to deal with this. DR 335. Plus 500. Yeah, this is this. We only fell this. Yeah, we're only going to fell this on a roll of 1. So let's hope I can roll. So taking out this bad cop, this is easy, right? And how are we going to do that? How are we going to stop this Hennigan's inside man, this bad cop? Let's tell that story. So Enzo sets his guys around and says, listen, last time went bad for us. 3 of my men died. Bugsy's in hiding. We got to take care of this cop on the lowdown. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to investigate, and we're going to find out where we can catch him in the most compromising illegal activity, and we're going to make sure there are witnesses to it, and we're going to get photographs of it. You know what? We're going to set him up. Let's get Rosie, and we're going to set him up with our best prostitute, and we're going to get pictures of this cop, and we're going to tell him it's time for you to take early retirement. So let's see if this cop is threatened by our bribe, or is threatened by our threat to expose him for illegal activities, partaking in hooch and prostitutes. 2, barely. Oh my God, he's a tough sell, but we do force him to move on. Plus 25. We're at 845, folks. We're gaining leverage back, and we send the bad cop home. We tell him take an early retirement, and he tells of his sister living in Springfield, and he decides, yeah, I think I'll do that. And we take some power away from Charlie Hennigan in the old town. Now, the problem with that is we don't know if Hennigan may have retribution on his mind for episode 10. One heck of a first season of this show. I don't have a name for it yet. We might call it Lucky Luciano, right? This might be the Lucky, TV show title. Sounds good to me, as things are going lucky for him right now. So maybe now we give him the nickname. I left it blank, Lucky. So Lucky Luciano is the name of our TV mobster show, and he's turning out to be a little bit, he's ruthless, but maybe he's got a soft heart. Maybe he's a Robin Hood for the people. He wants to control Paradise City as a positive Don, right? All right, episode 10. Let's push Don Michael Marcello, the boss. Uptown. Now, this is where we could win the game. However, high-rise luxury apartments, beautiful boutiques and restaurants, and the top financial houses and banks are all found in this glamorous uptown. Don Marcello's mansion and grounds are also found here among the elite, powerful and wealthy. It will be nice to be the kingpin when you oust Marcello. A mobster may not use these charts until he is at 1,000 points, so I am not able to come here yet. I'm only at 845, so that's going to force us into the headquarters. So we got to stay at home. So this is going to be, if we had Bugsy, my men come to me and say, hey, we heard that he's going to be in the mansion. He's having a big party. He will be ripe for the pick and boss. No, we don't have Bugsy. Bugsy's still in hiding. We can't be messing with the main Don without my right-hand man, Bugsy. I squash it. Meanwhile, some kid comes running in and says Don Marcello sends a not-so-subtle message. Oh, so down the street, while Don Marcello in Uptown is throwing a wedding for one of his top lieutenants, he sends his boys. While we think he's going to be busy doing a wedding, he sends his boys, and they send a not-so-subtle message. We have to stomp this out right now. Can you believe it? The son of a... So here we're thinking, I'm not gonna harass him while he's got a wedding because my man ain't here. and he sends a not so subtle message to us. So he maybe drive by with a bomb, blows up a corner bar that's our top distribution for our illegal hooch. That's what I'm thinking. But we're at plus 270. So you come into a man's neighborhood, the one place we're ready for you is here. We got a plus 270. And folks, we're going to take it to him. We need a 4 and up to win this battle. 8. Oh yeah, we don't just win it. We run his arse out of town with a plus 110. He just made me. That's so awesome. So HQ, the Don, attacks. That son of a gun. While he's throwing a party, he sends his troublemakers. But we're going to win this. Plus 110. Man, folks, 845 plus 110 makes us 955. You know what's good about this? We are now 45 points shy of taking it to him where we could actually win the game. So what he's done by doing this in episode 10, he's only steeled my resolve to bring that bastard down. Don Marcello is a punk. He attacks me while throwing a wedding for his top lieutenant when he knows that I'm going to be taking care of my hood. All right. But we send a message as we drive back to his neighborhood in a stolen truck. And as that truck rolls to a stop, as we abandon it and let it roll to a stop in front of his mansion and bang into the fence, when they come out to the truck, they're going to find 3 or 4 of his men dead. And that's a message back. And Mom now is beginning to do dishes late and clean the table late, as she doesn't want to sit with the kids and the dad and watch this show anymore because there ain't no humor in it. So we got to have some kind of light episode here for Mom. I thought HQ might be light. No, it turns out it's one of the most vicious as the Don attacks us. But guess what? We're at episode 11 of the show when the Don finally shows his hand against us. That is pretty sweet. Episode 10. This is episode 11. And this one is, boss, you have business to attend. Awesome. We're staying in HQ. So maybe this might lure Mom out of the kitchen if she hears a pretty light episode here. HQ 3. The Ruski is looting our warehouse. DR 325. Okay, now everybody's coming after us. So what happens when you get up to 955? We're starting to collect merchandise. We're starting to grow. And now all the other district heads are wanting to bring damage to us. And here we go. -3. This is an easy one, though. -325. So we're at 955 minus 325. So we're at plus 620. This is going to be easy. So the Ruski. Nobody's met the Ruski yet. This will be the episode, Our Warehouse. So he's coming in, maybe trying to burn down our warehouse loaded with hooch, loaded with stolen merchandise. And we're going to be plus 630 on this. Whoops. Difficulty is 325. There we go. So this is easy for us. We just don't want to roll a 1. Don't roll a 1. 10% chance of failure is the worst you can do on the chart, or is the best you can do on the chart. 2, barely, but we do turn them away. So we managed to put the fire out. We might lose a few of our guys in the crew, so there's some dead bodies laying about, but we do manage to extinguish the fire. And we gain, guess what, folks? We gain 50. Guess what that puts us at? 955 plus 50? We are at 1,000. So these guys messing with me. So what you can see that number as, they've turned it up to the point that I'm now mad enough that I might go after the Don to take control of this city. I can't believe how well this TV show is going, man, for my character. Episode 12. So now we've met the Ruski, and it turns out that he is not a likable guy, right? Now we want to go to Let's Push Don Marcello. I want to roll a 10. 10! Son of a gun. Can you see that? Can you see that beautiful 10? We're going after the boss. This is perfect. This will be the season finale. Episode 12, right? Back in the day, they did 24 to 32 episodes a year. So people worked hard. They would do an episode for 32 weeks, 24 weeks. Well, if we were picking up, let's say a show got canceled and we were a late pickup, this might be only 12. So let's say a show got canceled at 20 weeks, and we come in to fill that window of 12 weeks. This might be, matter of fact, we're going to make this the season finale. And whether I win this game or not, we're going to make this the season finale. And then next year we come back and we see what happens. But I won't end this character until the game's over. But There's a chance here, folks. Once these charts are started, the player can return regardless of my MR. So once I go into his territory, legitimately, I'm free to go back even if I'm poor, even if my rating stinks. But this is a very, very dangerous chart. If I'm at 1,500, I have to automatically challenge him to win the game. But I'm not. I'm at 1,000. So this is dangerous. This is where my mob, episode 12, season finale, Uptown, the Dawn. And we're going after the Dawn. This is the season finale. And I think this show is coming back next year for a full run. Let's see. Unless I win it, then maybe it's over. 4. Let's buy the house next door to Don Marcello. Minus 250. We bought a house. Holy cow. So we're setting up some big scheme. So so I dress up in my finest duds. I get my driver to drive me in my Rolls Royce, and we pull up to the mansion next door, and the episode closes as I pull out a wad of cash and I hand it over to the realtor, and I turn around and smile with a cigar, and I say, welcome to the neighborhood. There goes the neighborhood, boys. And the curtain falls and the credits roll as I have bought a house next door to the Dawn. Holy cow, what a season finale. What am I setting up? Why would I buy the mansion next door to the Dawn? Twofold, maybe to use it, maybe to spy on him, maybe to wreak havoc, but I have a feeling it's to send a message that you ain't going to be Dawn in this city for long. There's a new man in town. I have moved in. And in the first year of my moving into Paradise City, the season finale, I bought the house next door to the Dawn, letting him know there's a new king in town. Thanks for watching. This has been the Big Country Mobster, the Lucky Luciano Show.